Jose, Born to Dance by Susanna Reich, illustrated by Raul Colon. Jose, Born to Dance. The Story of Jose Limon by Susanna Reich, illustrated by Raul Colon. In 1908, a baby boy was born in Culiacan, Mexico. Kicking like a roped steer, bam, bam, bam. His name was Jose Limon. When Jose was a toddler, Mama used to take him to his grandmother's house for breakfast. The pet canary sang to him while he ate. Trilla-weep, trilla-weep. Surrounded by flowers, Jose feasted on mango and papaya, pineapple and banana, sweet rolls and eggs. His mouth watered as grandmother whisked the hot chocolate with her molinillo. When the hot chocolate was cool enough to drink, Jose gulped it down. Sometimes Papa took Jose to the theater, where Papa worked as a musician. Jose loved to watch the dancers on stage. The can-can dancers lifted their petticoats and kicked their legs. Oh la la! The flamenco dancers flipped their skirts and clicked their heels. See, see, see! The ballet dancers leapt into the air, raising their arms high above their heads. They seemed to fly. Ah! One afternoon, Papa took Jose to the corrida de toros. In the bullfight ring, a torero swirled his red cloak to anger the black bull. Olé, olé, olé! The bull pawed the ground. It ran straight toward the bullfighter, its head down and its eyes ablaze. Jose gripped Papa's hand. Later that night, when Mama tucked Jose into bed, her sweet voice echoed in the darkness. Sora, sora, so, sora, so. That night, Jose dreamed of the bullfight. One spring day, when Jose was 5, he saw government soldiers marching in the street. A civil war had broken out in Mexico. Jose slung a stick over his shoulder and marched through the house. Uno, dos, uno, dos. The next day at breakfast, shots rang out. The rebels had attacked their town. Surrounded by fighting, Jose's family hid in the cellar for 3 days and 3 nights. Months passed, and the war raged on. Safety lay across the border in the United States. Perhaps Papa could find a job there. Jose's family took a train to Nogales, close to the border. Soldiers sat on top of the train, their guns at the ready. The train crawled through the hot desert. As the sun set, Jose heard the sound of an accordion and a slow, mournful song. Oh, soñador. For 2 years, Jose and his family lived in Nogales, waiting and waiting for permission to enter the United States. Finally, Papa's work permit arrived, stamped with an official seal. They packed their bags and set out across the northern frontier. Adios, Mexico. At Jose's new school, the children gathered around the teacher to read aloud from their books. When Jose read, the other children laughed at his poor English. At first Jose cried, then he stamped his foot in fierce determination. Pum! I will learn this language better than any of you, he said to himself, though it seemed nearly impossible. But within 3 years, Jose could speak English with confidence. He was quick to learn new words and translate it for Mama wherever they went. Carmesí, crimson. Radiante, radiant. Liberación, liberation. By 6th grade, Jose had become known for his colorful drawings. Among his many younger brothers and sisters, he was famous for his pictures of trains. Everyone thought he would become an artist, but Jose loved music too. As a teenager, he practiced the piano at all hours of the day and night. When his fingers flew, his spirit soared. Ah! After Jose finished high school in Los Angeles, Mama became very sick. When she died, sadness lay on Jose's heart. He went to work in a factory. All day long he took tiles from one wheelbarrow and loaded them into another. At night he dreamt of paintings and drawing. He dreamed of living in New York among the artists, but he didn't know if Papa could manage without him. Jose waited and brooded and argued with himself. Finally, after a year, he made up his mind. "Papa," he announced, "I'm going. Adios, Jose. Farewell." He headed across the continent, 2,462 miles. When Jose reached New York, the shimmering city towered above him, marble, stone, brick, and steel. Jose floated down the sidewalk. He would become a great artist, un artista grandioso y magnifico. He would fill his sketchbooks with drawings like none the world had ever seen. He took a job as a janitor, scooping ashes out of coal furnace and hauling garbage cans to the curb. But as winter wore on, a cold loneliness settled over Jose. He missed his family, far away in sunny California. Discouraged, he wandered the halls of the great museums. Manet, Renoir, and Picasso, he thought. Perhaps they had already painted everything. His drawings would never compare. The music in his heart fell silent. "New York is a cemetery," he said, "a jungle of stone." Jose put away his drawings. He felt sad and lost. How could he be an artist without an art? He wanted to give a gift to the world, but he didn't know what it could be. One day, Jose's friend Charlotte invited him to a dance concert. The dancer twisted his body and leapt into the air. Aye! The dance lit a fire in Jose's soul. Ideas exploded in his mind. "I do not want to remain on this earth unless I can learn to do what that man is doing," he said. A few days later, Jose stepped into a dance studio for the first time. As soon as the pianist began to play, the sound of the music carried Jose away. He swooped, he stretched, he swirled, and then he flew. Ah! La danza será mi vida! I embraced the dance. From then on, Jose took classes from teachers Doris Humphrey and Charles Weidman nearly every day. Dripping with sweat, he struggled with his stiff and stubborn body. And at night he hobbled home, his muscles sore and aching. 6 weeks later, he made his debut, performing for the first time. As he waited on stage, he felt shy and nervous. All those people in the audience would be watching him. But once he heard the thundering applause, his spirits lifted. "That night I tasted undreamed of exultation, humility, and triumph," he said. Ankles and feet, knees and hips, chest and arms, head and neck, up and down and back and forth and in and out, Jose Limon wove himself into a dancer. He became what he was born to be. For 11 years, Jose studied and danced with Doris and Charles. He learned to make his muscles sing. He learned to move his bones every which way. He learned to flow and float and fly through space with steps smooth as silk. He learned to be fierce like a bullfighter, ole, strong like a soldier, uno, dos, and proud like a king, pum. He learned to make dances sweet as birdsong, trill-a-tweep, hot as the desert sun, si, sad as broken dreams, oh, sonador, loving as a mother's lullaby floating on a Mexican breeze, sora, sora, so, sora, so. In time, Jose became a world-famous choreographer and toured the globe with his own dance company. For 40 years, with bare feet and broad shoulders, he graced the concert stage. From New York to Mexico City and London to Buenos Aires, he danced for presidents and princesses, builders and bricklayers, bankers and bus drivers, fiddlers and firemen. And each night before the curtain rose, he whispered to himself, "Make me strong so I can give." Bravo, bravo, bravo! Historical note. One of the great dancers and choreographers of the 20th century, Jose Limon, 1908 to 1972, was born to a family of mixed European and native Mexican descent, of the first of 11 children. After the outbreak of the Mexican Revolution, Jose's father lost his job as director of State Academy of Music in Canilla, Sonora. 2 years later, the Limons moved to Tucson, Arizona, and later to Los Angeles, where Jose attended high school and his artistic talent blossomed. After his mother's death, Jose was torn between his commitment to his family and his future as an artist. In 1928, he set out for New York City. He enrolled at the Art Students League, but homesick, lonely, and still grieving for his mother, he soon became discouraged and left school. In February 1929, he saw a performance by the German dancer Harold Kurtzberg, and his life took a new direction. Jose started to take classes with Doris Humphrey and Charles Weidman, who, along with their contemporary Martha Graham, were pioneers of the new art form of modern dance. Soon Jose was performing with the Humphrey-Weidman Company and in Broadway shows. In 1941, he married Pauline Lawrence, a musician and costume designer who managed the Humphrey-Weidman Company. After serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, Jose returned to New York to start his own dance company. In the decades that followed, Jose performed in works created for his company by Doris Humphrey, as well as in dances of his own. Some were rooted in his Mexican childhood, while others were inspired by Greek myths, Shakespearean tragedies, or biblical stories. Among his greatest roles were the bullfighter in Lament for Ignacio Sanchez Mias and the Moor in The Moor's Paven. Since Jose's death in 1972, the Limon Dance Company has continued to tour worldwide to great acclaim. Jose's dances have been performed by the American Ballet Theater, the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, the Joffrey Ballet, and many other companies. As a teacher at the Juilliard School, Jose inspired several generations of young dancers. The Limon dance technique, known for its dynamic rhythms and lyrical phrasing, is still taught at schools and universities around the world. In 2000, the Dance Heritage Coalition named Jose Limon one of America's irreplaceable dance treasures.